Hello, this is Jasmine and welcome to another Kattober video. This prompt is for Wonderland and it's a little bit earlier than the last prompt I did because I'm not necessarily posting these to YouTube in order, but this seemed to be a pretty well-liked one on my Instagram, so I thought I would share the process with you. A little bit of it got cut out here and there because my camera would not focus. But basically for the background, I went in with a wet on wet technique, like doing the galaxy. I dropped in greens and yellows and just kind of left it very blurry and abstract because this is going to be a bunch of branches with hopefully what seems like wondrous magical lighting effect like you get through a canopy of beautiful trees. For Kattober itself, I've actually fallen behind a lot. And I'm not really surprised, I tend to do that, but I'm also not too concerned because I really need to get to work on some of my bigger portfolio pieces, and I just really need to focus on those. But there's also quite a lot of Kattober pieces that I still absolutely love the thumbnail, so I am going to do them. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and allow myself to skip out on all of the prompts that didn't really resonate with me, or at least I didn't manage to come up with a very good thumbnail for, because although I am doing this for practice with my gouache and stuff, 30 is a lot of paintings, 30, 31, and I think I'm getting there. I'm really enjoying gouache and I am learning a lot with every single piece. But I'm also finding that I don't have a lot of fun with the pieces that aren't like my own, very much my own creation, that is something that I would normally want to paint. So, for example, with Villain, I did a fan art piece, and you would think I would have a lot of fun with that because, it's characters that I really like, but no, I really want to do my own pieces, like the previous one I did, Bite, that I made an entire story for the type of creature that I painted, and that's really where I am. I am a world builder. I am a creature creator. I like to make my own little stories and illustrations, and if it's too forced or it's something like fan art, I just don't have quite as much fun with it. But let's talk about the art a little bit. I go in with the background like I talked about, but then I'm also going in with some flat washes of color. There's actually some long pauses because I did not mix up enough browns for these branches. I thought I did, but just not at all. And that's why there's various tones as well. And that is something that I never worry about. I never worry about stuff getting too muddy unless I'm working with a very bright highlight or something like that. And I never worry about variation in tones because nature has that, not all of these branches are going to be the same color, not all of them are going to be lit the same, and I could have mixed up plenty, but it's just not something that I worry overall about. If I feel like they're not quite cohesive enough, I will just go over everything again with another wash, and that brings all of the different colors together. And I do believe I do this later on in this piece with some. I go over with several different layers, which is what I'm doing anyways. I'm putting down color. Yeah, you can see me doing it in this part where I put some more of those reddish tones into one of the closer branches, and I just put a kind of a flat color, but I don't try and blend it out and make it super smooth because it is bark. I just put it down there roughly, and I keep the strokes going in the direction that I want the tree bark to be going. So in squiggly directions. Sometimes I'll make little circles and stuff to allude to the texture so that I don't have to go in and shade and draw all kinds of tiny little textural pieces. Now then I go in with a lot thicker dry brush technique and a lighter desaturated color, and I'm really going for texture here. I'm trying to like allude to bark again without having to get too hyper detailed. I do like going in with tiny detail. That's one of my big favorite things, is making things look not exactly hyper realistic, but really well detailed and realistic. But this is not a large painting that I'm going for that. This is practice and more surreal looking, especially since the whole prompt for this video is Wonderland. You know, I feel like it needs to have sort of an impressionistic look to it. But this really shows how I use gouache quite well, because I go in with thinner, more watered down layers like I did with the trees, and then I just go over them again, build it up, and then I go in with a thicker layer on top for highlights and dry brushing and texture. And then you can see here it skipped forward. I don't know why I don't have any of it saved, but I put in some bluer tones and greener tones for shadows all over where the branches are overlapping, and to define some of the form of the branches. And I also go in later behind the kitty cats and I add some, because I wasn't going to give them shadows. They're like mysterious, magical, but it just looked a lot better with some bluish shadows, especially with there being blue shadows everywhere else tying all the branches together. And blue makes a really good color here because it kind of reflects the idea that there's blue sky somewhere out there, and also the greenish yellow undertones are reminiscent of moss or lichen and the rest of the leaves. I am running out of time now, so that is it, and thanks for stopping by.